How's it going, my truant people? Dr. Slacking, the Slacking Doctor, back with the draft analysis. We're keeping going for your Bristol Drifloons in the BBR. I have to give a huge thank you to Mid Pokermaster for a couple of reasons. One, I said that this was potentially going to be my last Wi-Fi league. We don't know, but it might be. So huge thank you to him for including me and having me in the league as potentially my last season. Two, this draft analysis is going up late because I'm recording it late. So yeah, huge thank you to him for being patient with me and understanding that there's just been a whole lot of shit going on for me recently. And three, thank you to him for being a good son and making my life not too stressful. I mean, it's all I can ask for as a parent. So let's kick off this draft analysis. Everyone else's links will be down in the description. Go check out the other channels because it's a stacked season this season. Some really, really good coaches in the league. First pick, I was the penultimate pick of round one. We were right next to the back wheel. I think it was like a 20 coach draft. And Shay was after me, and Shay's a guy that I really, really like. So I spoke to Shay and I was like, look, man, just tell me what you want and I won't pick it, because there were so many good options left at the end of round one that I was like, I'll just pick a core and leave Shay to have whatever Shay wants. He wanted Victini. I kind of wanted Victini, so I was like, all right, I'm glad I asked, because otherwise I might have sniped you. So I left Victini to him and decided to pick up Hydreigon instead. Hydreigon was one of my most drafted mons in Gen 7. I think it's even better now. I like using it on the ladder. I think it's fantastic. So good with Nasty Plot. So good with Nasty Plot. And Dragon Dance is pretty heat too. So yeah, and I was thinking, because we were so close to the wheel, I can think in cores. I knew what Shay was going to pick, and I was like, all right, my favorite core to use in Draft League, and I know cores are overrated, blah, 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 but my favorite core to use in Draft League is an offensive, dark, fighting, psychic core. So I picked up Terrakion next, and I was like, whew, this is looking, I don't even care about the rest of the draft now. Hydreigon, Terrakion, yeah, I'm done. Doesn't matter about the rest. I've got two beasts, two boys that I'm very comfortable using. I never miss Stone Edges ever, so that's fine. I don't need to worry about that like other people worry about. Yes, I have no points left. The budget doesn't look too tight at 1,100 points. You can't see there's 11 picks. I'm blocking that off because I had to put my face cam somewhere. But actually, that is quite tight when things were quite expensive. You'll see later on I pick up like a Little Cup Mon for 40 points. There wasn't even a 20-point tier for a little while. So yeah, definitely expensive tiering. I had some complaints about the tiering, but I'm a big believer that the tiering is the same for every coach. So it was not how I would have tiered, but every other 19 coaches in the league had to pick from the same tiers I did. So it's still equal, right? That's how I feel about tiering. Just because you don't agree doesn't mean it's that bad. I'm now going to go on to one of my later picks, because we do draft analysis wrong in this community. We do it in the order of the picks, but sometimes it's better to do it in the order of like relevance to what you're talking about. So I've set up this little block here so that you can't see what I picked in round 2 to 7. As we picked up Aegislash in round 8, I gambled on it falling all that way. It's very unpopular nowadays. I don't know why, because it's fantastic. And I spoke about that fighting dark psychic core. Ghost kind of does the role of the psychic in it, in as much as it resists the fighting for the dark type. It is weak to dark types, which kind of then is supported by the fighting type. It does a lot of the same things that psychic does in that kind of pairing. So yeah, for me, I felt pretty comfortable picking this thing up with the steel typing, meaning that it resisted psychic too. Again, was pretty useful. So to me, this 3 is an unbelievable pair. I mean, you've got your water and grass resists for Terrakion in both of the other two. You've got your ground resist in Hydreigon for the other two. You've got just everything. You got your fighting resist in Aegislash or fighting immunity in Aegislash for the other two. So yeah, to me, like this 3 just synergized so well. There's, I can Dragon Dance to win games, I can Nasty Plot to win games, I can Swords Dance to win games, I can Rock Polish to win games, I can Autotomize to win games, I can Swords Dance to win games again with Aegislash. So there was just so many like offensive options here. Like for me as a trio, I was like, I don't think I've... The closest thing to this I've ever had is when I had Mega Lati, Keldeo, Weavile, which was an amazing offensive core built around the same principle. This might even be better than that. Like in this limited decks, I think this is insane. And frankly, the rest of the draft is irrelevant. It really doesn't matter what I pick from here on out. But I did pick up in round 3 something which I took very early because I love it, which is Whimsicott. Everyone knows I love Whimsicott. It's probably a bit of a meme. It's probably my most drafted Pokemon of all time by this point. There's very few fairies I like in general, especially once you get out of the top 2 tiers. it's either Whimsicott or Diancie for me, frankly. So with Diancie not being released yet, picked up Whims. Just great speed tier, great team support, great pivot, just as a fantastic Pokemon. Round 3 is early, but now you can see once we add Aegislash back onto the graphics here, I couldn't wrangle it right, but once we add Aegislash back onto graphics here, we have our Fairy Dragon Steel core as well completed, so that's pretty cool. And then I paired this with the wheel back with, oh, my things are out of order here, with Golisopod. Again, super early, but for me, this was the best value pick in the tiers at 60 points. At this point, I don't even know if we had a 20-point tier because that was kind of added partway through the draft. But I knew regardless I was going to pick up Golisopod at some point because I needed to balance the books and get value in the lower tiers. And this was by far and away the best value mon in the lower tiers in my opinion. I think Golisopod's awesome with heavy duty boots. I think it's like it plays like a 100-point mon to me. I drafted it in UBL the start of the generation. It was fantastic, great priority, first impression Aquajet, all that good stuff. Spike support is something that I'm a whore for nowadays. I would do anything to have Spike support on my team. So yeah, very, very happy to have Golisopod back on the squad. I know those two picks seem super early, and people will be like, oh, why is he taking Golisopod and Whimsicott round 3 and 4? I got fucking Hydreigon and Terrakion round 1 and 2. I got to balance the book somehow, right? You know, I can't just keep picking those every single round. So for me, yeah, doesn't matter what people think. I think that's an awesome start to a draft. Next up, I've gone in the wrong order. We've got 2 there. Pretend you didn't see that. Because things are in the wrong order on my thing because I'm an idiot. We've got Lando Eye. So this was the start of my next wheel. I think Lando Eye is super underrated. It's actually quite expensive in this league. I do see it cheaper in some places, but it's worth it in my opinion. People like to be like, Lando Eye without Sheer Force is just bad. Lando T's streets ahead of it. Yes, Lando T is a much better Pokemon. But that doesn't mean that this isn't a phenomenal Pokemon, right? Lando T is just so bloody good, but this is great too. Great speed tier at 101, being able to create those speed 100s. Good rocks, good pivot, and yeah, looking at these 5 right now, plus Aegislash, which you know I have, I could bring those 6 to every game this season and probably do quite well. I could probably just play the season with those 6 Pokemon because it's such a well-balanced, good team. Again, another ground resist / immunity, so our Aegislash and Terrakion that are going to come to pretty much every game. We have Hydreigon, Golisopod, Whimsicott, and Landorus that all either resist or immune to ground. So that kind of common ground weakness, not a problem. I think this is phenomenal. I'll be honest with you. I think it's so strong. Yeah, I'm hoping I can prove the worth of Lando Eye and show people that it's very, very good still and deserves respect. Next up, Uxie. Uxie's a weird one. I think Uxie's very good, but it doesn't suit my playstyle particularly. You just throw it in, you get Rock Stuff, and you U-turn out pretty much. Maybe you click Yawn, maybe you click Thunder Wave, maybe you click Knock Off. I do think it's got a good niche. But I think on this team, I'm not going to bring it that often. It'll be games where I can't fit rocks on any of my offensive mons. I'll be like, alright, we'll throw rocks on Uxie and we'll bring Uxie. Or if there's a fighting type that I'm really worried about, because right now, fighting types do cause me some issues if Aegislash doesn't have a good matchup, or if it's something like, you know, that could threaten Aegislash. I'm trying to think of an example, but you know what I'm saying. Like the common coverage, I can kind of work around here between Golisopod, Aegislash, and Uxie. So I think it's solid. It's a lot of points for this. I really wanted Mesprit. Mesprit would have been much better. It would have fit my playstyle much better. It would have given me a more offensive option while still giving me good rocks. But it got sniped, so I had to blow the points to get Uxie, which wasn't super keen on. And you can see why I didn't do that Dark Fighting Psychic offensive core, and I went for the Ghost instead of the Psychic because I was planning to pick up like Uxie, Mesprit as a good rocker and Levitator. So next up, picked up a bit of a heat pick, which I'm really hoping can do work. Picked up Jinx. I actually think Jinx is quite good. Dry Skin's a really nice ability in a Dracovish meta. Of course, I will get destroyed by a Crunch, but that's not the point. Its coverage is not bad. It doesn't get Freeze Dry, which would make it a lot better, but, you know, Ice Beam, I think Focus Blast, Shadow Ball, Lovely Kiss, it's pretty cool. Its speed tier is pretty good. It does now kind of give me a Dark Fighting Psychic core-ish offensively. It's just a different Psychic option to Uxie if I want to bring an offensive Psychic mon, and an Ice type as well if I see a team with a particularly big exploitable Ice weakness. I do think Heavy Duty Boots were pretty cool on this thing as a revenge killer as well. So yeah, in a relatively slow meta game, I think it can do a job, although the meta game got a lot faster with the last DLC, but still, I think it can do a job. We're really getting into bargain basement now because, you know, we kind of have to. Next up was obviously Aegislash, so we're going to skip that one, and we're going to go straight to the value picks with Marini. I've had this thing in a league before. I brought it to 1 game. Yeah, at this point, that's good enough. If I can bring it to 1 game, I've got use out of it. This is what I was saying about a Little Cutman being 40 points instead of 20 points. Kind of shows you that the tiers were pretty strict, actually. Pretty harsh. But it gives me T-Spikes, it gives me a Grounded Poison, it gives me another different kind of water to Galissapod with Regenerator and stuff. I can throw it in more easily than Galissapod and just regen off. I think it will be useful in certain matchups, but it's not, you know, it's not sensational, but it's okay. It can do a job. It's a Marini. I have Aegislash, Terrakion, Hydreigon. Who cares about Marini? Moving on. Next up, we're going even more into Uncharted Waters here. This is the one that I think can be good. I think can put in work in certain matchups, but everybody else probably doesn't. I've been looking at it for a few leagues now and going, I might draft this at some point. And that's Lampent. I get that it's a lamp. I love lamp. But I think it can be good, right? Flash Fire, it's useful. Secondary Ghost type, because I love stacking typings, apparently. It was 20 points. I needed a Fire type. It has Flash Fire. Now you can't bring down Manatan and just click Flare Blitz against me freely. Woo! I don't know, okay? It seemed good at the time. Maybe it will be good. We'll see. Maybe I'll never bring it. I don't care. I have so many other good mons. Because this budget was difficult, my idea was, let me draft an 8-mon draft and just throw stuff on at the end. So, Hydreigon, Terrakion, Whimsicott, Galissapod, Lando, Uxie, Jinx, Aegislash, I think is an acceptable 8-mon format draft. If you play in tournaments where you have to play with 8-mons, I think that's an acceptable 8-mon draft. I think it's a bloody good 8-mon draft, actually, because the only weak link is Jinx, and that's okay when you have the other powerhouses. So that was what I did. I decided before the draft even started, I'm going to draft 8-mons, and then I'm not going to care about the rest of my team because the budget is like that. And so last up, I picked up Checkmate Ben's one of his trademark Pokemon in Dunsparce, and one that I know he loves, and one that I always associate with him. We're going to get some Serene Grace freezes with Blizzard. That's the plan, or I'm going to glare people and annoy them. Another Rocker. It does get for Tompass, so it can be kind of a Stealth Rock pivot-ish. It's not great, but it's a Dunsparce, and it looks funny, and that is worth 20 points in of itself. It was supposed to be Munchlax, or maybe even Lickitung, but both got sniped. When Lickitung is sniped from you, you know that people are scrounging in the bottom tiers to balance their teams. So we ended up with Dunsparce. Hey, it means I can run leftovers instead of Violite, so that's pretty cool. We'll just have to wait and see whether it ever comes to any games. So that's the team. This is why I didn't mind putting my face cam over the last 2 picks, because it's a Lampent and a Dunsparce. You probably don't need to see them. Hopefully we can get some wins with it. Like I say, everyone's channel will be linked down in the description. Week 1, we are going up against Mid Pokemaster, who I forgot to thank for making the graphics, or at least sending me the graphics if he didn't make them. I don't know who made them. He sent me them. I don't know. But yeah, we're going up against him week 1. Should be a very good game. I think this is quite a long season, like 11 or 12 weeks, so we'll have this team for a while, and hopefully we can do some interesting things with it. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for loafing around with me, and I'll catch you again next time.